Hello, welcome to another edition of Things That I Like to Share. Of course, with the caveat that I reserve the right to be wrong. I am trying to listen more. There is a sense of irony in me making videos and talking about listening more. Um, yeah, and I like feedback. So on today's edition, I'm drinking coffee out of the big hug mug, a gift from Kate. And I wanted to chat a bit about grounding, not necessarily the parental discipline approach. You know, when I would act a fool at church and had to go to sit on the stairs when I was younger. But perhaps that had its grounding and awareness and meditation purposes. But no, I'm talking about grounding in the sense of settling in, bringing in awareness, just focusing on your being, centering, mindfulness, anything from an extended seated meditation to yoga or just a moment to breathe. And so what I've been doing, if you've watched any other videos, I do the one note card challenge. I have an idea, but this isn't a note card as you can see because I can't find my note cards. So I've kind of done the one notebook page challenge, and so was taking notes, and I thought today would be a great time to talk about grounding. And I know how much various grounding practices means in my life because there's everything always fighting for my attention. It's always like the pew pew pews going off. You know, it feels like whether it's the news, stuff in my community, people in my house, or my inner monologue. You know, having 1,000 different thoughts at a time. I know how it is easy to just move along without even noticing how overwhelmed we can be, how much is fighting for our attention, and the impact emotionally, physically, spiritually, for always having things competing for our attention, for always having that sense of overwhelm. Yeah, I know for me, it makes me tired. If I have just a lot going on, I have a busy work day, there's all stuff coming up in the inbox. If I have a bunch of meetings in a row that require my attention, require my presence, trying to get the dude ready for whatever events we have going on, taking care of the dog, it can be really a lot. And when my brain and my attention is spread all over the place, it really is exhausting. And so I've been making efforts over the years to bring in mindfulness, to bring in grounding, to bring in just a sense of being. It's as I look at my laptop, one of the reminders is just the B key right there. It's just be, not do, not feel overwhelmed by all these different things, but just be, ground, so that I can filter. And sometimes that is going to an organized class. If there's qigong offered, yoga, or getting outside for a walk where I don't have my phone, I don't have my headphones in, not listening to any podcasts, just taking in nature, and then allowing myself to notice what is surfacing, like what is going around in the the moon bounce in my mind, where everybody in the moon bounce is all hopped up on Red Bull. Like, how can I bring awareness to it, knowing that I probably can't necessarily change it, but just by bringing awareness to it, it really can subside, dissipate. One of the tricks that I've used throughout my career, I spent a lot of years in the legal world, and so that comes with all the feelings, the imposter syndrome, the overwhelm, the stress, the trauma. And there's so many days where I'm just like, I have no idea how I'm feeling. I feel a lot. And so trying to find the different tools that are out there. And in my notebook, I wrote grounding. And so what can I do in those moments, whether I'm at home, whether I'm transitioning out of a really challenging environment, I'm feeling that overwhelm, that fatigue, what can I do? Sometimes it's movement. Sometimes it's stillness. Sometimes it's just that one breath, maybe two breaths. I always talk about these tools at length, and sometimes I forget to offer them up. So let's breathe. This is what I do when I start to feel stressed, overwhelmed. If I can, I close my eyes, relax my shoulders. Sometimes even invite a smile to my face. And oftentimes I'd be sitting in court, so it'd be a little goofy if I did this. So the eyes would stay open. I kind of have that internal smile and just remind myself, like, I'm another human navigating this mystery. I'm going to take the time to notice what's hard, what's beautiful, what's tragic. And it can feel like it's all happening in the brain all at once. And so I use the body's tool to regulate the nervous system. Just by bringing awareness to my breath. Again, eyes can be open or closed. If it's comfortable, lips can be sealed. And then I start off with just noticing my body and my breath. And there's a moment in there that feels like perspective. It even feels like a sense of joy where it's like, oh my gosh, isn't this nice to just pause and breathe? Like the external chaos and the internal chaos is always going to be happening. But despite the chaos, just noticing how good it can feel to pause and breathe. Again, it's not saying that big emotions won't surface. It's not about whisking away to some type of false sense of joy or positivity. Joy and positivity may arise, but if they do, I hope it's naturally, so that when you have tough emotions and feelings, you can just be with them. So on that first step of just noticing the body, notice the belly and the chest expand and contract. And you may notice that the breath itself began to lengthen. Maybe longer inhales longer exhales. We've gone longer than that one breath, but one breath can be effective. 30 seconds or 30 minutes. Just giving yourself permission to take a pause. Breathe in, breathe out. And allow whatever thoughts to surface. I know when I have those anxious thoughts, those imposter syndrome thoughts, they just don't feel as big when I intentionally give them space. I'm just going to notice them. I'm going to sit with them and say, all right, you're here for a reason. My subconscious is sending me a message. It wants me to be cautious, and that's okay. I'm going to recognize what is surfacing, and then I am going to see if I can let go. While you use the thoughts for the benefit that they offer, knowing that they are part of the human journey. But I'm just going to allow myself to breathe. Invite in some perspective. That these are just thoughts, they're feelings, they're very real. But at the same time, I don't need to let them have control over me. I don't need to let them direct my action. I can feel motivation from anger, from stress, anxiety. But I can use this grounding space to use them as healthy motivation, healthy action. Letting them be a part of loving awareness. And it's a practice. It comes with time. It's not an overnight remedy. But in time, the more we take for grounding, for centering, for simply breathing, the more we can signal to our nervous system that it can be in rest and restoration. It doesn't need to be in the panic, in the fight, flight, or freeze, all just by noticing the breath. And the grounding practice then allows a space for values, for how we want to be in this world. I know for me, I try to really ground into love, compassion, joy, patience, mercy, grace. Instead of me just giving lip service to those words or believing in them in my intellect, can really use this space to try to embody. I am love. I am compassion. And if you want to keep breathing, you're welcome to hit pause or shut down your device. And just give yourself a few more moments, minutes to sit and breathe. Ready to transition, I invite you to bring your hands into heart center. Just taking a few more moments for centering, for grounding. Perhaps gratitude for the body, for the breath. For these moments of awareness so that we can be a bit more intentional. And then remembering that the grounding practice isn't something that we just do once a day or once a week, but just seeing if we can return to it throughout our day. When things start feeling hectic, chaotic, overwhelmed, you start feeling that shortness of the breath in the chest. Just inviting in a few breaths for awareness, for grounding, for breath. And whenever you're ready to transition into your day, I invite you to release your hands, open up your eyes, take any big stretches. Just give yourself a few moments, noticing how it feels to ground. Maybe you have a journal, sticky notes, to write a bit, journal how it is that you're feeling. How did it feel to take a few moments to breathe? And sometimes it might be really hard. Sometimes a lot of tough stuff might come up, but the purpose isn't to bypass the challenging feelings. It's more to have a healthy relationship with them. Well, I appreciate you watching, and I'm sending you love. Have a good rest of your day or evening or morning,